Mr. Pro. I'm doing it.
Mokro on the beat.
Welcome to the Truth of the Matter edition. We are coming to you from Biafra Television, London. The Northern Youth Consultative Forum have called on Nigerian authorities to allow the Igbos to go with their Biafra. The Northern Youth, in their statement, they said that they will never coexist or share the same country with Igbos anymore. They have also written an open letter to the acting president of Nigeria to allow the Biafra Republic to go peacefully through the principles of self-determination. The Northern Elders Forum made it clear that they are in support of the declaration coming from the Northern Youth Consultative Forum to allow the Igbos to vacate the northern Nigeria on or before October 1st, 2017. The response from the indigenous people of Biafra. Indigenous people of Biafra term it as a welcome development to the restoration of the sovereign state of Biafra. The indigenous people of Biafra have called on Biafrans residing in the northern part of Nigeria to vacate the north before the deadline, which is October 1st, 2017. The Elders Forum from the southeast Nigeria have condemned this development and called on the Igbos to vacate the north before October 1st, 2017 to avoid history to repeat itself. The acting president of Nigeria met with some leaders of thought from southeast and some elders from the north to see a way forward for Nigeria. Mr. Kalabu, now the people of Biafra living in the north have a role to play. The Senate and the federal government of Nigeria also have a role to play. What do you tell the Senate and the federal government of Nigeria?
Mr. Moderator, before I could go on to answer your question, I want our audience to understand that this scenario that we are witnessing at this point in time in 2017 is something like history repeating itself, because I could remember on the 29th of May 1966 there was what they call the Igbo riots, the May Day Igbo riot to be precise, which the Northerners, as typical of them, they did in 1966, whereby thousands of Biafrans were massacred between the 29th of May 1966 and the 2nd of June 1966. There was also the same scenario on the 29th of July 1966 to 2nd of August 1966. There was also the same scenario on the 29th of September 1966 to the 2nd of October 1966. These are the series of massacring by the Fulanis when they embarked on these murderous activities, killing the Biafrans living in their midst. So, in this 2017 quick notice, a threat to national sovereignty, as they have always claimed, the National Assembly has a very big and important role to play. First and foremost is this: the people of Biafra are not calling for war. The people of Biafra are not calling to evict anybody from the territory of Biafra land. The people of Biafra are seeking for self-determination. Self-determination is enshrined under Article 1 and the 55 of the United Nations Charter on the rights of indigenous people for self-determination. Nigeria is a signatory to this treaty. Self-determination is also enshrined under Article 20 of African Union Charter on Human and People's Rights. Nigeria is also a signatory to this pact, and also Nigeria domesticated all these international statutes into their domestic laws. That is why in Nigerian Constitution under Section 40, you also have similar rights. So, in effect, what the Biafran people are doing is basically and completely within the bounds of the law. So, the National Assembly of Nigeria in the year 2010, when there was a crisis, when the president was nowhere to be found and there was no provision, it was about to create a vacuum at the executive. Yes. So the National Assembly, they convened on an emergency session whereby they deliberated. So the National Assembly adopted what they call the doctrine of necessity, whereby they started the office of the acting president, which was not formally in existence. What I am saying in effect is this: the National Assembly, as it stands today, must, as a matter of urgency, convene an emergency session to deliberate and discuss, since they have said that there is no referendum in the Nigerian fraudulent constitution, inasmuch as they say that Vox Populi Vox Dei, which means the voice of the people is the voice of God. And it is believed that the National Assembly is a collective representation of the people, and the people came out and made up their mind to be free from the British contraption called Nigeria. So it is an onus and a responsibility on the Nigerian National Assembly to convene an emergency session and deliberate, and came up with a doctrine of necessity for referendum on the Biafra question. Because the Biafran people, we don't want to kill. We don't want to be killed. We are not seeking for war. We are not seeking to levy war against any country or any individual, group of persons or persons. So, what the National Assembly should do is to convene an emergency and determine a date for Biafra referendum. That is number one. Number two, we the indigenous people of Biafra, we are aware that the Nigerian Constitution 1999 was a fraudulent document imposed on the people, which the people did not contribute anything towards the formulation and promulgation of such constitution. And in effect, what the National Assembly should also do is to remember that Frederick Lugard, who concocted the Republic of Nigeria, he concocted it and made it to last for 100 years, of which, after 100 years, if the three indigenous nations that make up the contraption called Nigeria couldn't make a viable nation, that they must go back to the way they were before the advent of colonialism. So now that 100 years expired on the 31st of December 2013. So since the first day of January 2014, Nigeria has been living on a borrowed time. That is to say that Nigeria, since 1st of January 2014, is no more a legal entity. So what the National Assembly should do is to jettison that fraudulent constitution. They should take, for instance, how they did it in South Africa, when the South African Parliament, they jettisoned the apartheid constitution and chart a way for a freedom of the black people in South Africa. So this is the line which the National Assembly should toe the line, because if they fail to act urgently, there will be anarchy and chaos, because we, the indigenous people of Biafra, we have decided that it is either Biafra referendum or there will be no more election in Biafra land. And when there is no election in Biafra land, there will be a constitutional crisis. And when you have a constitutional crisis, it is well to know that we are descending into chaos, anarchy in a failed state called Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kalagwe. Yes, of course, if you look at what you're saying, referendum for indigenous people of Biafra is to maintain the democratic process, to exit Nigeria by the indigenous people of Biafra. Yes, Mr. Onyeka, yes, the Northern Youth Consultative Forum is threatening the indigenous people of Biafra, especially the Igbo-speaking Biafrans, to vacate the North before October 1st, 2017. We have politicians that are living in the northern part of Nigeria, especially in Abuja. We also have captain of industries and all the rest of them, business owners, and the common people from the Igbo extraction living in the northern part of Nigeria. We have our investment and all the rest of them. Then remember what happened in the 1960s. Now, what do you tell our people, based on the threat coming from the Northern Youth Consultative Forum, what do you tell our people so that our people will escape their threat?
Welcome, moderator, and welcome viewers on this platform, The Truth of the Matter. Actually, when we talk about Nigeria, you know that Nigeria is a failed state.
Yes, of course.
A failed state in various ways. We shouldn't allow history to be repeating itself on a negative side.
Yes.
Where many lives, properties are being lost, and the status quo is not being maintained. So what is the need of being one in a country where you have various diversity, different ethnicities, and the kind of hatred and the bitterness, discrimination between one another? We shouldn't allow history to repeat itself. As I said earlier, you can rightly believe with me that in 1966, and what did the northern leaders did then? They called that there is no problem, that they're going to sit around and let's sort things out.
When the threat was coming.
Yeah, so when the threat was coming. But what happened on the long run? The northerners went on the killing spree, killing our people. The rest of them that fled to the east, Gowon initiated a peaceful plan. He met the then governor of the Eastern State, Governor Ojukwu. He said that we have made a peaceful resolution that our people should come back to the north. And our people, being entrepreneurial in nature, and I can say our people are the most, our people are the Nigerians can talk about, because we like to invest everywhere in the country. So our people went back to the north. And the killing started again, and it led to a full-blown war. You see, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know what is in the boss. Our people should learn from the history of the past and also correct their mistakes. We are in the 21st century. I mean, you shouldn't expect something that happened in the olden days to happen again, meaning that we are not making any move.
Yes, of course.
So I'm now calling our people to start documenting their investments and also bringing them down to the east. And also the federal government now, as they are rightfully said, should facilitate the needful referendum, because this is no going back. I don't really know why the president, the president of Nigeria should be jockeying around the east and the north also. I mean, this to me makes no sense. I think a professor of such standards should know what is obtainable and what is not obtainable. Yes, so if they are coming to the issue of the good notice given to Igbos by the northern youths, if you can go to the fraudulent constitution also, Although the Constitution, you know, we've taken the Constitution, but just take a look at it. You can see Section 41, subsection 1. It said that a Nigerian is free to live anywhere, any part of the country. The Northern, I think they were the people that promoted the Constitution. So let us go by the Constitution. It has been null and void to the Northern youth. And you know the worst thing of it is the elders are supporting them, meaning that they've gone to the Constitution. And what are we going to do? We are not living in a failed state because we are disciplined people. We don't kill people anyhow. I mean, we welcome every visitor in our land, and this is why we want our country. And furthermore, if you can look at the Constitution also, and also the statement the Vice President made, it was quite really provoking that anyone that talk about self-determination will go to jail. Nigeria is indivisible and indissoluble. All this is in the Constitution. I now ask the Vice President, where was your Constitution when part of Bakassi Peninsula was ceded to the Cameroon? Was the Constitution not active that Nigeria is indivisible? And do you know what purpose means in Nigerian Constitution? The part of Bakassi that was ceded to Cameroon is still being put in Nigerian map. You see, I mean, failed state is a failed state. So you want to tell me that you say that Nigeria is created by God, Lord Lugard. Lord Lugard was a man of the olden days. So we are still living his own laws till now. I mean, and you remember that when Lord Lugard created Nigeria also, he said that the north and south, they are like oil and water. As my co-parents have already said, that Nigeria is like oil and water that cannot mix. We've tried the union for 100 years. It's really not working out. A lot of bloodshed, anarchy. Igbo man will just run from the north tomorrow. His investment will be vandalized.
You know, based on the threat coming from the Northern Youth Consultative Forum, in 1960s, the entire Nigeria, especially the north, they seized the weight of the Igbos in Nigeria. Coming to their threat, on 6th of June 2017, they have said that after the October 1st, 2017, that they will implement their physical action to seize the investment or the wealth of the Igbos in the north. Now, what do you have to say in this regard?
Thank you, the President, once again. We have now known the aim of the Cabinet Declaration,
yes,
by the Northern Youth Forum.
Yes.
We now know where they are going to. Their eyes is on our investments. And may I tell you rightfully, the Cabinet, the youth of the Northern Nigeria, actually you made away with the investment of the Igbos in 1966. It's not going to be the same now because we are in a changing world. I now urge our Igbo-speaking Biafrans to start documenting their investments. I mean, giving us the accurate figure, and the ones that they can bring home, let them relocate home. You know, this is going to be an external issue, not when Igbos are being killed, properties are being lost, they say it's internal crisis. Now we are on the verge of getting our Biafra.
Looking at this threat is coming to the entire Biafrans, not just when Igbos became Biafrans.
It's coming to the entire Biafra. So once the government call a referendum now and we vote because Nigeria has been occupying our land.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Mr. Onyeka. And now, Mr. Kalawu, do you still have anything to chip in here?
Of course. And as is being heard, that they don't want to live in the same place with the Biafrans. That is to confirm to you that Nigeria is wrong to be seen as a country, because the people who live in it do not see themselves as one people. That is why you cannot see electricity in Nigeria. That is why there is no meaningful development in Nigeria in any spheres of human endeavor. So what happened is a very good and welcome development. And I challenge Abdulaziz Suleiman. He's a Muslim. And I challenge him to live by his words. I challenge Ango Abdullahi to live by their words. Let them not go back to their words. Let this ultimatum, this 1st of October 2017, let it be realistic. Let it be realistic. Don't allow any Igbo man, any Biafran to remain in the north after the 1st of October. We support you. We want Arewa to have their Islamic caliphate. We want the Fulanis to have their country whereby they can practice Sharia, practice their way of life, the way they were before the British came. That is what we want. We are in support of the quit notice. We love it. If you are a Biafran and you are living in the north, you have from now till 1st of October to vacate. A Biafran shouldn't be in the north. You can only be in the north when we have Biafra. You can go there and live there as a Biafran living in Nigeria. So those who are in Nigeria who claim that they are the Igbos of northern Nigeria, we have dashed them over to the Fulanis. Do with them as it pleases you after the 1st of October. But do not fail. Do not fail on your threat. Because if you fail on your threat, that means you are no more a man.
Are you saying that they are declaring Biafra on October 1st, 2017?
Of course, they are declaring Biafra for Biafra. But Biafran people, we are no more declaring Biafra again, because Biafra was declared on the 30th of May 1967. So what we are doing is to restore Biafra. So in as much as the northerners, they are ignorant of all these facts, so they can go ahead and declare.
So now their point is that Biafrans should go, Biafrans should vacate Nigeria.
Of course. If you are a Biafran and you are living in the north, start going home. So if you have properties there, make sure that you document all your properties. If you have a building, make sure that your documents are complete, are correct. If you have a building and you don't have the documents CFO of the land, what you have to do is to look for the receipts that you have been paying for the yearly payments of the property, because every property, if you have a landed property, you pay. So those receipts that you use to pay for it, you keep it. It is also an evidence. As soon as we restore Biafra, it will no more be an individual problem. It will be an international problem whereby the government of Biafra will go and seek to return your properties to you.
Thank you, Mr. Carla.
Thank you,
Mr. Carla. Yes, the Northern Youth Consultative Forum and their elders are calling the indigenous people of Biafra, the Igbo-speaking Biafrans. They have written an open letter to the acting president of Nigeria. They have called on the international stakeholders to allow the Igbos to go with their Biafra. So the Nigerian authorities should now organize a referendum for indigenous people of Biafra to exercise their democratic right, that is a referendum, to decide their political will in Nigeria, whether they want to stay in Nigeria or not. Remember that northern Nigerians, they insist that Igbos must not coexist or share the same country with them. Therefore, they have declared October 1st, 2017, the day Biafrans should exit Nigeria. So right now we are coming to the end of this program. We are also going to use this opportunity to thank the leadership of IPOB for the good job he's doing. We are also thanking all the people who are working to ensure that the Biafra will be restored. We will expect you to make your comments. The platform of the truth of the matter is bringing the truth exactly how it is to our audience. We are expecting your comment. This is the truth of the matter. Thank you for being with us.
Biafra freedom.
Lord, no. Calling the African Union, talk about my freedom. I'm calling the folk on the south this world to set Biafra free, Lord. For so long, man.